Hi, one of my subscribers asked me how we can change the background color in Inkscape, and the option for this is found in the document properties. And because there are a lot of useful options there, I decided to cover this dialog in my beginner's guide. So you can access this dialog from the file menu, document properties, or you can click here on this icon to quickly start this dialog. And you can see there are a lot of options here in different tabs. I'm going to start with the first one, page. This option here, default units, can be very useful for those of you who are going to print their graphics. By default this is set on pixels, but we can change that, for example, to centimeters. And you can see that the rulers instantly changed to this unit, and also when you're creating graphics you can see that the width and height are displayed in centimeters. So depending on which country you live in and also the size of your graphics, you may want to use another unit here. I'm going to change it back to pixels. Now next we have the background color, and from this option you can change the transparency and color of the page. Now by default this is transparent, and also it's affecting not only the page but the rest of the workspace. As you know, we can create graphics outside of the page. Now let's click here and see how this works. By default this is set to transparent, and we can change that to gray, for example, but also need to adjust the alpha here so the color can appear. And if you want to, you can use a gray color like this to make it a little bit easier on your eyes. Now something important about this option, the color here and the transparency is also used for bitmap export. What this means is that if you have transparency in your graphics, or if you're trying to export a graphic on a transparent background, you will always get this gray color instead of transparency. So if you want to have transparency when you're exporting, you come back here and you change the alpha back to 0, so you can do that. And later, of course, when you're creating, you can go ahead and change it back to gray. Now let's close this and move to the page size options. You can see here that we have a lot of different page sizes that we can choose from. We can also choose to be a portrait or landscape. We can also enter a custom size for our page. There are more interesting options hidden here in resize page to content. If I click and expand here, you'll see that we can resize page to drawing or selection. Now if I make sure this black rectangle is selected and click here resize page to drawing or selection, you'll see that the page acquired the size of the object and also was moved to the position of the object. Now if you don't have a selection, this will resize the page to the drawing, so you may have more than one object here. For example, if I create another black rectangle and this time make sure I have nothing selected, click on this option, you'll see that the page acquired the size of the drawing. And with these options here we can add pixels to the top, for example 100 pixels. Click here, you'll see this will grow the page with 100 pixels on top. You can do the same with the left, right and bottom. I'll click here to collapse these options and show you the rest of them. Show page border. A lot of people don't like seeing the page, so you can turn it off from here. Or you can choose the border to be on top of the drawing. Right now it's below. If you click here, you see that the page border is on top of our drawing. Or we can choose to hide the border shadow, for example this shadow over here. And one more option, the border color. Again, just like the background color, we can adjust this by clicking here. We can make it semi-transparent if you want to. We can also adjust the color, and this takes effect usually when you close this dialog. And sometimes I pan around a little bit holding down the middle mouse button to make sure this takes effect. And this is pretty much all for this tutorial. I hope that it was useful. If it was, like the video, leave me a comment. If you're new to my tutorials, subscribe and visit my channel for more. And that's it for now. Bye.